Hey, what's going on guys? Nick here with HN Entertainment's spoiler-free review for Dark Phoenix, the final chapter in Fox's X-Men saga. So Dark Phoenix has been highly publicized, at least, for going through an extensive and troubled production. The film took a pretty long while to get to where it's at now, and to actually get released in theaters. There was even a time when fans thought that Dark Phoenix would never actually hit theater screens. But here we are. This is the story of one of the X-Men's most beloved characters, Jean Grey, as she evolves into the iconic Dark Phoenix. During a life-threatening rescue mission in space, Jean is hit by a cosmic force that transforms her into one of the most powerful mutants of all. Wrestling with this increasingly unstable power, as well as her own personal demons, Jean spirals out of control, tearing the X-Men family apart and threatening to destroy the very fabric of our planet. It's the culmination of 20 years of X-Men movies, as the family of mutants that we've come to know and love must face their most devastating enemy yet, one of their own. The film stars Sophie Turner, James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender, Ty Sheridan, Alexandra Shipp, and newcomer Jessica Chastain as the villainous Agent Smith. So right off the bat, I have to sadly report that I was not a fan of Dark Phoenix. I actually never saw X-Men Apocalypse, and I was kind of mixed on the other films. I really did like First Class, and Days of Future Past I thought was pretty good overall, but this was never a film that I was super excited about or jazzed up to see, especially after Disney and Fox had made the announcement that this was basically going to be the end of Fox's X-Men era, because it's essentially saying that, hey, now everything that you can look forward to is going to be something completely different. So I would much rather see a new and fresh take on the X-Men franchise rather than a culmination of a series that I'm fairly mixed on overall. The big question mark with Dark Phoenix was always that Simon Kinberg, who's been a long-time screenwriter and producer of the series, was making his directorial debut with this film. And a lot of people were very hesitant about that because the guy is a first-time director with this, but basically getting a budget of $200 million to go tell what is arguably one of the biggest and most important storylines in comic books, certainly the X-Men. And does he stick the landing with this one? Not in my opinion at all. The worst part about this is that it's actually his second go around at trying to tell the storyline, which was sort of shoved into X-Men 3 The Last Stand and just really didn't work out. The writer-producer has always said that with Dark Phoenix he was trying to get it right this time around, but sadly it just fails at every juncture. Personally, I felt that all of the returning cast members were just kind of phoning it in. Michael Fassbender, who's an actor that I particularly love his work, I found that, he was alright, but even he was just kind of going through the motions, along with Jennifer Lawrence, Nicholas Hoult, and James McAvoy as Charles Xavier. Now, as for the star of the film, Sophie Turner, I think that she was given material that was, let's say, less than stellar to work with. And the villain, played by Jessica Chastain, is so generic and by the numbers. You've seen her a million times before, and sadly, the actress just doesn't bring anything memorable to that performance at all. I think the big problem with Dark Phoenix is that it's trying to tell a storyline that really requires you to be fully invested in the entire cast of characters and the story thus far, which Dark Phoenix just really doesn't warrant. This is a story that could be incredibly powerful if told right on the big screen, but telling it in a 2-hour movie or even a sub-2-hour movie like Dark Phoenix is just near impossible. This should have easily been a 2-part film arc, kind of like how Marvel Studios did Infinity War and Endgame. Personally, I just really can't recommend this film at all. And that's sad to say because, like I mentioned, this is basically the end of Fox's entire 20-year run on the X-Men franchise, and I really can't recommend the final chapter. If you guys have seen Dark Phoenix, post your thoughts down below. Let's try to keep it as spoiler-free as possible. For those who haven't seen the film, are you looking forward to seeing Dark Phoenix? Is there anything that's really exciting you to see the film? And what are your thoughts on, just the production overall? For more updates on Dark Phoenix and everything Marvel and pop culture, be sure to subscribe to HN Entertainment.